Okay. So in the last session, guys, folks in online, I'm audible to you. Can you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Good. Thanks. So in the previous session, just we have discussed about how to define the setter methods and getter methods. If there is a variable, then how can you define the setter method and how can you define the getter method? And what's the purpose of setter method and getter method also we have seen. Okay, suppose if I want to, if I declare my variables as private variables, so private variables in a class are visible only inside the class, and you cannot access them at outside the class. Only they are visible in inside the class, right? So,
Yes, sir.
how can I store the value or set the value to the variable, and how can I read the value of that variable? So,
And get
in order to facilitate setting and getting the values, we need to define what methods, setter and getter methods. And when you're defining setter and getter, make sure that they must be public methods. Okay, it's a convention to follow. Make sure that the setter getter methods must be the public methods. And and while setting, if you want, you can also write the logic so that you can prevent setting the invalid data into a variable. For example, if you take in this example, let's first open our P52, not 52. Just a minute. Yeah. So in our last example, we have a class called what? Customer. Okay. And here I'm setting the age as what? 40. You look at this. For the age I'm setting 40. What happens if I set the age minus 40? It'll accept. So your code is not working properly. Am I right? Your code is not working properly. What you can do now, you can go to your setter method. In the setter method, you can write the logic. Okay, what's the logic? Suppose if somebody is trying to set the age which is negative, less than or equal to 0, because 0 is also wrong. There is no 0 age. Am I right or not? So if anybody is trying to set the age which is less than or equal to 0, you can throw exception. Exception, I mean error. Okay. So this kind of we can prevent setting invalid data by using setter method, because in setter method we can write the logic. This is what actually in the last class I have explained regarding setter getter methods. Okay. This is a code. Okay. Suppose what happens if the person age is minus 40? Suppose this is the last example. What happens if I set the age minus 40? If I set the age minus 40, then also minus 40 is accepted. And if I run this program, I'm going to get the output as what? Age minus 40. But this is not a valid code. Am I right or not? This is invalid code because I cannot set the age minus 40. That is wrong age. Am I clear? So what can I do is I can go to this method. Which method? Setter method. Set age is a method. Am I right? Yeah. What's the method name? Set age. Here I can write logic. What's the logic? If that given age parameter value less than or equals to 0, then I want to throw exception. Throw exception. Did everybody is getting my point? Throw what? Exception. Okay, no problem. I can write new exception. Okay. Throw new exception. I want to throw the exception. I can throw exception. I can throw runtime exception. Otherwise, better. Now, throw new what exception? Runtime exception. If I run this program now, see now you are getting some kind of error. You are getting some exception. Exception means runtime error. Okay, what are you getting now? Java.lang.runtime exception. You are getting something like that. Am I clear with this now? So basically what you understood now, if I'm trying to set the minus 40 as a age, what I'm getting? Exception I'm getting. I'm getting exception. Suppose if I set the age as plus 40, okay, if I set the age as 40, it is valid data. Yes, now I'm getting output here. I'm getting the output here. ID, name, and age. So this is the way. The advantage of setter method is we can able to set the valid data. If somebody is trying to set the invalid data, we can throw an exception. We can throw an exception. That is a advantage of working with the setter method. These are all the points which I have already included in the last class. In the last class examples, guys. Okay, suppose if you look at this, if a balance less than 0, throw what? Exception. Just have written the code like that. Okay. These are all the things we discussed in the last class about setter, getter methods and all those things. Now, guys, now we'll start with the today's topic. First, we'll start with a question. Today's notes, we are going to start with a question. Let me add the date. Second June, 2nd July. I will like to start. Guys, what I'm trying to say is now, suppose question comes here. Question comes, can I make the constructor of a class as private? Is a question.
Yes.
Can I make the constructor of a class as a private? Now let's go and have it. Let's go and have it. Tell me, in this class, am I writing any constructor? No. I have variables. I have setter and getter methods, but I am not creating any constructor. What happens if I don't create a constructor? Default constructor. Default constructor will be created by the compiler. That's the answer. What's the answer? Default constructor will be created by the compiler. That a default constructor created by the compiler is a public constructor. Compiler always creates a public default constructor. What type of constructor? Public default. It's a public default constructor. Okay, right. Can we write constructor? Can we write a constructor in class?
Yes.
Yes. I told already. Can we write more than one constructor?
Yes.
Yes. That also I told. If you write more than one constructor in your class, it is called a name called constructor overloading.
Yes.
Constructor overloading. Okay. I told already these points. It's there in your notes. Please try to read them. Okay. I want to define constructor. See here, guys. Private customer. Okay, I'm not writing any logic. Just I want to explain first. Could observe here at line number 11. Did you get any error? No. Which means?
No.
Which means we can make the constructor of, we can define the constructor as a what? We can define the constructor of a class as a private. Yes, private. It's allowed. It is allowed. But if you go to object creation,
In another
line number 41. In line 41, what are you getting here? Error. Error. Why? After
Private.
new. After the new keyword. Correct. After the new keyword. What are you calling here?
The constructor.
That is called constructor only, na?
Yes.
Yes. Tell me, this constructor is private or not?
Yes.
It is private.
Private.
If it is a private constructor, will it be visible to you at outside of the customer class?
No.
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 No. No. It's not visible. That is the reason why you are getting error at line number 41. Did you get my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes. If I remove public, do you know what's going to happen?
No.
Sorry. If I remove this public, do you know what will happen? It's going to become default constructor. If you don't write any access modifier, like a private, public, protected, if you don't write anything, what is the default? Default is default. Default is default. Then tell me, this is now, what is the modifier of, what is the access modifier of this constructor?
Default.
Default. Default is visible at what?
Outside the class.
Outside the class also, but within the same package.
Outside.
Yes. Now you see line number 40 at line 41. Look
Yeah.
at the line
No
41. Do you
no
have any error here?
No.
We don't have any error. We don't have any error because it's visible. But if I make it as private, we'll get error. We'll get error if I make it as private. Now go to line number 41. What are you getting? Error.
Error.
Error. Did you understand this point? Yes? Everyone, am I clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Very good. So what is the point to understand here? We can make the constructor as private, but we cannot create an object for the class at outside the class. At outside the class. Yes. Inside the class we can create. Just for showing you, I will write one method. Public void. Just some method. M1. Customer. C is equal to new customer. Guys, look at line number 16. Tell me what is this statement? What is the purpose of this statement?
To create a object.
It's a statement for creating an object.
Yes.
With this statement, an object is created.
Yes.
Tell me this object is created. This object is created for customer class inside the class or at outside the class?
Inside
the class. At what? Inside the class.
Inside.
Yes, at inside the class. Okay. Tell me this constructor is what? Private.
Private.
Tell me now this private constructor is visible inside the class or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Visible.
But why I am getting error at line number 45?
That is outside of
Exactly, this is outside the class. Am I clear with this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So answer I would like to write. I want to write answer. I'll remove all these things. I would like to write answer. What's the answer to write? What's the answer to write? The answer is what? Can I make the constructor of a class as private? Means what is the answer I want to write? Yes.
We can create.
Okay. Yes. If you make the constructor private, then what happens? If you make the constructor as private, then it is visible
Inside of the class.
inside of the class only. Inside of the class only. So we cannot create, we can't create object at outside of the class. Is this question and answer is clear for you?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Let's go ahead, guys. So today, our intention is to know about a keyword called static. I told yesterday, today we are going to talk about static keyword, and also we are going to look at about another concept called nested classes. So first I would like to start with the static keyword. Okay, right. I would like to start with the static keyword. Folks, everyone, let's start with the static keyword. Okay. Guys, everyone, now look at the concept of what the static keyword is all about. Okay. See, I'm talking about which keyword, guys, now? Static keyword. Online folks, try to grasp it, guys. Try to grasp it. Yeah. Folks in online, yeah. Probably some of you guys, okay, are skipping the class on Saturday or Monday. Please try to attend the sessions regularly. Okay, if you attend the sessions regularly, guys, then you have a continuity. Okay, otherwise, you may lose the interest and you may lose the continuity of the subject. Okay. Suppose if I'm not taking any class, that's okay. You are not going to lose anything, right? But if you are missing the class, then obviously it's a loss, right? It's loss for you. Of course, even though you can watch the video, the recording video, but live class and recording video will have some small difference, right? You will miss that essence. Yeah. So please try to attend the sessions regularly. Now we are in static keyword, guys. So first of all, we'll understand about who is the static keyword. In Java, there are two types of modifiers are there. One is called access modifier and second one is called a non-access modifier. Okay, access modifier and a non-access modifier. If you look at private, protected, public, and default, these four are called access modifiers. Okay, and remaining all means, let's say static is there now, final is there. Okay, abstract keyword is also going to come in our classes next. In multi-threading, you will come to know synchronized keyword, volatile keyword, native keyword. You will be finding these kind of keywords. These are all called as non-access modifiers. So in Java, there are two categories now, access modifiers and non-access modifiers. Okay, right? Because access modifiers means they will control the visibility of a variable, of a member. Suppose you take private. Private is controlling the visibility of a variable, of a method. Where is visible? Where a private variable or a private constructor, private method is visible? Within the class. Within the class. It's controlling the visibility. They are called access modifier. But these are non-access modifier. Means what? These don't tell about, these do not tell about access, visibility. These are not going to tell about visibility. Who will tell about visibility? Access modifiers. So these are non-access modifiers. Then what is modifier word meaning? Please try to get the clear subject. Okay, clarity is very important. What's the meaning of modifier?
To make the changes into the variable or object.
Yeah, modifier is nothing but what actually? What is the meaning of modifier? Any idea on that?
Yeah,
Changes.
modifier. It means if you want, you can change the
Yes.
classes, class of member.
Modifier. Actually, modifier represents, or modifier word says modifying or changing, updating otherwise. Modifying or updating. Updating the existing meaning. Okay, modifier updates the existing meaning. That's called meaning of what? Modifier. Modifier. For example, how can I tell an example to you? Okay.
Just like we can change for variables and method
Okay.
implementation.
No. If I tell like this, I know nobody can understand. I'll tell you something. Yeah. I have an example in my mind. I'll tell you. So there is something called police. We all know police. Okay. Police. Police is a government employee who will try to keep law and order in control. Am I right or not? Is a police. But suppose if I add a modifier called traffic. Traffic police. Now, so what is the modifier I'm adding? If I add this word traffic, now you tell me the existing meaning of the police got changed now, right? Police means a civil police who will takes care of law and order. But traffic police doesn't take care of law and order. Traffic police will only take care of managing the traffic. Traffic police will manage the traffic. So what do you mean by traffic now? Traffic is one word I'm adding, means a modifier I'm adding. By adding this modifier called traffic, what happened? The existing meaning got changed, is updated. The police meaning is updated. Now this is called what? Modifier. Did you get my point? What is modifier?
Yeah.
Everybody?
Yes.
Did you understand my example? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yes, sir.
Just keep it in mind. Okay. So what is the meaning of modifier word? Modifier will update or change the existing meaning. Existing meaning. Yeah. Yes. Leave about that. Coming to static. First of all, static is a non-access modifier. Finally, it's a modifier, but it is not access modifier. Okay, it's a non-access modifier. Very good. This non-access modifier static we can use, I repeat, we can use at variable level. We can use it for variables and we can use it for methods. And also we can use it for blocks. In Java, static keyword can be used for variables, for methods, and for blocks. If I use static keyword for variable, it is called static variable. If I use a static keyword for method in the method creation, it is called static method. And also I can create one more called static block. So we can create static variables, static methods, and static blocks. First, we'll understand about what is the meaning of static. Okay, static is a modifier, right? Just now we discussed about modifier is trying to update or change the meaning of existing. Existing meaning can be changed by using what? Modifier. Okay, listen clearly, guys. I'll tell you. You will understand. Okay, no issue. But first, let me write some point. What's the point I want to write? Static is a non-access modifier. Static is a non-access modifier. Second point I want to write is we can create. Okay, we can create. Or in Java better. In Java we can create. In Java we can create. What we can create? Static variables. We can create static variables. We can create static methods. And also we can create static blocks. Guys, what we can create in Java? We can create static variables,
Method and
static methods, and static blocks. So so far you got the point, right? I'll explain you. Look at this, guys. Everybody look at this. Please understand. I'm taking initially simple class. Later we'll discuss about program in a big way. Class A. I have a class called class A. Simple class only I'm taking because I don't want to make you confused. Okay. Now tell me, I have variable like private. Understand, private int x. Private static int y. Am I clear with you? Two variables I'm creating. What is there in that? There are two variables are there in class A. What are the two variables?
private.
One is variable name x, another variable name is y. But the difference is x is a private integer variable, but y is a private static integer variable. Means x is instance variable. X is instance variable, but y is static variable. Static variable. Okay. So try to understand now. It's not local, it's static variable. Guys, understand clearly. In Java, we can create three types of variables.
Yeah.
We can create how many types of variables? Three types. Variables are three types. Variables are three types. I'm not talking about data types. You know, data types are two types. Value types and reference types. Again, under value types category, there are 8 types. They are called primitive data types. Int, float, double, short, byte, long, char, boolean. These are all comes under 8 category. They are called value types. Primitive types otherwise. Primitive types, reference types, 2 types are there. Did you get my point? Cool. I'm talking about variables now. I'm not talking about data types. Variables. Variables are 3 types. Okay. One is instance variables. Second one is static variables. Third one is local variables. Third one is local variables. Fine. Please understand me, guys. Suppose I'm creating a method, void. Please understand me. M1 is a method. M1 method. In M1 method, I'm taking one variable called int z. Guys, x is what variable? X is an instance variable.
Instance variable.
Y is a
Static
static variable. Z is a
Local
local
variable.
variable. Because where are you creating this variable Z? You are creating the variable Z inside what?
Method.
M1
and
method. If you create a variable inside the method, then it is called what? Local
Local.
variable. Now Z is what? Local variable. Am I clear to this point? Okay,
Mm.
let's go ahead, guys. Okay, I'm not talking about types of variables. I'll explain this next. But first I want to explain about static. Okay, if you create any variable as a static, okay, there are some methods here. Please understand me better. There are some methods inside the class that we do not want to write the complete code. There are some, after the variables, we have methods also. Leave about that. Now I have a class called main. And I have public static void main method. In shortcut, I'm writing PSVM. And here I'm creating object. Class A. Please understand, class A. Let's say, for example, C1 is equal to new class A. Again, class A, C2 is equal to new class A. Tell me how many objects are created here? Two objects are created. What are the names given to the objects?
C1, C2.
What are the names given to the objects? C1 is one name and C2 is the other name. So in my program, I can call C1 and C2 as two objects of the class A. Am I right or not? Did you get this point now? Look at this, guys. Please understand. This is heap memory because we know objects are created in heap memory. I gave one diagram already in the very first example. Just remember the diagram.
Yes.
Remember the diagram, okay? But I'm talking about heap. Could you tell me now? Objects are created in which area? Heap area of the JVM. Let's say this is the heap area in JVM. Let's say this is a heap area in JVM. Now what? This is the first object. Hey, this is the first object. And this is the second object. This is the first object and this is the second object. Two objects are there in class now. What is the name of this? What is the object name? First object name? C1. Now the second object name is C2. Listen here. This is C1, this is C2. One thing I want to tell you one thing. I want to tell you one thing. In this object, memory is allocated for this variable X.
Yes.
Because this is instance variable.
Yeah.
This is the memory for X variable. Here also, this is the memory for X variable. Let me write the variable name X here, the variable name X here. But tell me, there is another variable called Y also.
Yes.
There is one more variable called Y. But the memory for the variable Y is not allocated. Is not allocated inside the object. Did you get my point? X, for the X variable, memory is allocated inside the object. How many objects are created? Two. The memory allocated for the variable X in first object and also allocated in second object. Sir, please understand me now. What about the variable Y? The memory for the variable Y is not allocated inside the object because it is static variable. That's why. That's why. If the variable is a static variable, understand, if the variable is a static variable, then the memory will not be allocated for the variable inside the object. Then where it is allocated? outside the object. Outside the object. In the heap memory only. In the heap memory only, but at outside the object. For example, here. Let's use a different color. Here. This is y. Did you understand my point? Why the memory is allocated for the variable y at outside the object? Because y is a static variable. Okay, static variable. And this, how many times the memory is allocated for this variable y now?
Only one.
Only once. Only once. Because it is which variable? Static. If the variable is a static variable, then the memory will be allocated at where? Outside of the objects. Outside of the objects. Separately. In the heap memory only, but at the outside of the objects. And all objects will share the same variable. Then tell me now. Now tell me. This x, guys, this first object and the second object, both are sharing what? Both are
Y.
sharing the same variable. Both are sharing the same variable. Okay, right? Now you tell me this y is a shared variable for all objects. A
Yes.
shared variable for all objects.
Right.
Am I right? So tell me who is a shared variable for C1 and C2?
Y.
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 If I create one more
Y.
object C3, same. For
Yeah.
C3 also, y is a
Yeah.
shared variable. For C4, C5, C6, C10, y is the shared variable. Because you are declaring y as what? Static.
Static.
Very good. Tell me when to create a static variable. We can get instance variable also. Then why are you creating static variable?
If
If you
you
want to,
Fix the
if you
value.
want to share, if you want to share a variable across all objects of the class or for all objects of the class. If you want to share, try to understand, if you want to share a variable for all objects of the class, then tell me, if you want to share a variable across or for all objects of the class, you have to declare that variable as what? Static variable. Suppose, for example, guys, please understand me. For some time, I'm removing private because we know about private. Because you know private, for some time I'm deleting this private keyword. Look at this, guys. C1, please understand. C1 dot x is equal to 40. C2 dot x is equal to 50. Could you tell me now, what is the value stored in this
40,
x location?
40,
40.
Or the value stored in this x location?
40.
40 is the value stored. Yes. Could you tell me what is the value stored in this location called x?
50.
50. Here it's 50. That is 40. This is 50. Am I clear? Now, please understand me. If I write, guys, C1 dot y equal to 90. C2 dot y equal to 100. Could you tell me what is the value stored in this variable y?
90.
First, what is the statement?
90.
No, first statement here for y. C1 dot y is equal to 90. Then tell me how much value will be stored in this y? 90.
90.
But what's the next statement?
C2.
C2 y
C2
equal.
dot y equal to 100. Tell me for C2 also, y is the same variable, na?
Yeah.
Yes.
Y is different, not a different variable. Y is common variable for what?
All
C1 and C2.
All of
All
all
objects.
of them.
Tell me C2 dot y is equal to 100 means what happens here? This
We can-
value 90 will be replaced with 100. 100. Now, if you print C1 dot y, if you print output C1 dot y, what the output now?
90.
Where is
100.
90? C1 dot y. What's the current value of y?
90.
100. Where is 90? 90 is gone.
Oh, yeah.
Where is there is no 90? 100 now. You are getting my point?
Yes.
Yes. Initially, what C1 is setting? The
90.
first object, C1 object is setting the value for y as 90. After that, C2 object is setting the y value is what? 100.
100.
Then tell me that 90 will be overridden with 100.
Yes.
Did you get my point? Now for C1 also, what is the value of y? For C1 also, value is 100.
100.
Am I clear with this point?
Yes.
Are you getting my point? What's the point? If you have a static variable, then tell me how many times memory will be allocated for the static variable?
Once.
One
Once.
time.
Not for every object. Not for every object. That's a statement you have to tell in an interview, right? Not for every object. It will be allocated for only once. At inside the object or outside the object? Outside of the objects. In the heap area only, but at outside of the objects. Am I clear with this? Is this point clear for you, first of all?
Yes.
Everybody? Am I clear, online folks? Am I clear so far with this?
Yes, sir.
Second point. Second point. Please try to understand now. If the value is modified, or modified, I mean changed. If the value of the static variable is changed by one object, then tell me, will it affect to other objects also or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Tell me what happens if C2 is changing the value of y to 100? C1 also will get the value as 100 only. Nothing but
Yeah.
what it is affected to?
C1.
C1. If C1 changes, it will affect to C2. If C2 changes, it will affect to C1. If C1, C2, C3 are there. If C3 changes, will affect on C1 and C2 also. If C2 changes, will affect on C1 and C3.
C3.
If C1 changes, will affect on
Also.
C2 and C3.
C3.
Yeah. Did you get the point now? Yes. So tell me when to create a static variable. If you want to share
Only for all the objects.
single variable, if you
For
want
all
to share a single variable across
All objects.
all objects or for all objects, then you have to create that variable as a
Static.
static variable. Static variable. Tell me, x is a static variable or x is not a static variable? Not a static variable means it is what variable? Instance variable. Instance variable. Tell me, where is a memory located for the instance variable?
Inside the object.
Inside the object. For every object. For C1, memory is allocated. For C2, separate memory allocated. For C3, another memory allocated. So for instance variable, the memory is allocated for
Inside the object.
the memory is allocated for every object. The memory is allocated for every. But for static variable, memory will be allocated for only once,
Outside the-
and that single copy, it's a single copy now. This single copy will be shared with all
objects.
the objects.
All object.
Cool. I'll tell you some of the required things, but first I want to write some points. First, I'm talking about static variable. Okay, right. Tell me, guys. First, I want to write here, guys. In Java, we have 3 types of variables. What are the 3 types of variables?
Instance variable.
One is
static.
instance variables.
Global static instance. And
Local.
Are
Local.
you getting my
variable.
point? Instance variables. Second one is
Static.
static variables. Third one is local variables.
Local.
The static variables only, some people, as you said, guys, somebody said, na, so static variable only, sometimes people call as global variable. Local opposite is global, na? That's why people call the static variable as a global variable. But actually in Java, global variable is nothing but
Static variable.
Static
static
variable.
variable. That's it. We don't have any separate global variable, static variable only. Okay, 3 types. Let me write example. Understand here. Class A. Inside the class A, guys, inside the class A, I would like to write the variable name like int x. Same thing what I said. Int x. Okay. Tell me x is which variable?
X
X is which variable? Instance
instance
variable. Static into y. Y is which variable? Static variable. Next, I'm creating one method called void m1 into z. Z is which variable? Local.
Local variable.
So I would like to write all the 3 points. Tell me here, guys. Could you tell me what is this? Yes, it is instance variable. This is called which variable? Static variable. This
Local.
z is called which variable, guys? Local variable.
Local.
Okay. So there are how many types of variables are there? 3 types are
Three
there.
type.
3 types are there. Next, I'll go ahead. Okay. Next point. Everybody try to understand now. Tell me, when do we create a instance variable? Then you have to create static variable. I'm asking
When
about
we create,
instance
when
variable.
we create a class,
When do we create instance variable?
Instance variable we can
Hmm.
access through object.
Okay. I'm asking about when do we create instance variable? When do you create an instance variable?
We can access the variable through object. That's why.
That's okay. My
Instance.
question is, when do you create this instance variable? When do you create a static variable? At least could you tell me?
Static
When do you
When you
create a
want to share
static
the
variable?
variable? When you want to share the variable?
If you want to share a variable for all objects of a class, then you create a static variable.
Static variable.
Similarly, tell me, when do you create instance variable?
When you don't want to share?
When do you create instance variable? Simple, na? Static variable, means you can easily say instance variable. No need to think on this. For instance variable, memory is allocated for once or separately allocated for every object? For every object, memory will be allocated for instance variable.
Yes.
Tell me now,
yes,
instance
Yes.
variables are shareable for all objects? Instance
yes,
variable is instance variable shareable for all objects?
no,
Every
No.
object has a separate copy. But static
yes,
variable has how many copies? One copy of
One.
the variable.
only one copy,
One time only the memory will be allocated, right? Right.
Yeah.
So when do you create instance variable?
yes.
When do you create instance variable?
If you want to create
We
separate,
use separate
ob-
memory.
Ah. Okay. If you want to create, okay. If you want to create a separate copy for the variable first object, one copy, for the second object, one copy, for third object, like that, for every object you want to get a separate copy. So if you want to create a separate copy of the variable for each object. Did you get my point? If you want to create how many copies?
Separate copy.
Separate copy for each object. If there are 3 objects, 3 copies. If 4 objects, 4 copies. For every object, 1 copy. Am I right or not? Like that. For each object. That's what I'm saying. Now tell me, if you want to get a separate copy of the variable for each object, if you want to get a separate copy of the variable for each object of a class, then
Instance.
You have to create which variable?
Instance variable.
Yes, you have to create an instance variable. Tell me when do you get a static variable then? If you want to create
We can share the all.
a shared copy
Shared copy of
of a variable
variable.
for
All object.
all objects
All objects.
of a class. Am I right or not?
Yes.
If you want to create a shared copy means how many times memory allocated? Once. Then only we can call it a sharing, na? Very good.
Yeah.
If you want to create a shared copy of a variable for all objects of a class, then you have to create what? Static variable. You have to create a
Static
static variable. Third kind of variable is also there. Who is the third kind of variable?
Local
variable.
variable.
Now, when do you create local variable?
Local variable.
Local
we can
variable is
access
inside the method.
Inside the
inside
method.
the
Am I right or
block
not?
method.
So
Yeah.
what if you want to create a variable to use only with inside a method?
Yeah.
Am I right or not?
Yes.
What about variable z? Z is a variable it can be used only inside
M1.
M1 method. But can I use this z variable in another method called M2?
No.
Suppose, guys, don't confuse now. There is another method called what? M2. I have a method called what? M2. Tell me how many methods are there to you? Two methods are
Two
there,
methods.
M1 and M2. In the same class A? Yes. I want to use z variable here. Suppose z is equal to 109. Z is equal to 108. Actually, where is the z variable created? In
M1.
M1 method. But where I am assigning the value to z variable as 108 in
M2.
M2
Yeah.
method. Tell me, is the z variable visible to this M2 method?
No.
No, it's not visible. Why?
It's a
Because
Because
local
z is a
variable.
local
Local
variable.
Local variable.
Local variable is visible only
Inside the
inside
method.
the
At
method.
the method.
Inside the method. But this variable cannot be visible to outside the method.
Outside the method.
You are going to get error here. Am I clear? Yes. Question. Is this x, variable x, is visible in M1 method?
yes.
Yes.
Is x visible in M1? Is x visible in M2?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Because x is
Yes.
which variable?
Instance.
Instance
Instance
variables are
Instance
instance
variable.
variables and static variables. They are visible to all the methods. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell me, x is a variable. X is a variable.
Hmm.
Tell me,
Yes,
x
sir.
variable is visible to M1 method. Is
Yes.
also visible to
Yes.
what?
Yes.
M2.
Yeah.
M2 method.
M2.
M2 method. Y variable is visible to M1 method, and Y variable is
Yes.
visible to M2
M2
method. But Z variable is only visible inside the M1
Within
because
M1.
Z is a local.
Local variable.
Local variable.
Okay, thanks. Nice. So I want right point here. Sorry. If you want to create a variable to use only within a method. If you want to create a variable to use only within a method,
Block.
then you have to create a local variable. Did you got the 3 points? Instance variable, static variable, local variable. Local variable. Guys, everybody is getting this point? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell me, where is the memory allocated for instance variables and static variables?
Instance variable in heap and
For instance
heap
variable, the
memory.
memory will be allocated inside the object. Object is created in heap memory only.
yeah,
But for static variable,
outside the
Outside of
outside
Outside
the
the
object, in
object.
heap area, not inside the object. In heap area only, but outside the object. Outside the objects. Am I clear?
yes.
What about local variable?
In method area.
Ah. For local variable, the memory will be allocated in stack
Method.
area. Which area? Stack
Stack
area. In the first diagram, I gave you stack area, heap area, method area. in the first diagram. Those three areas, please keep remembered. Okay. Tell me, where is local variable? Where is memory will be allocated for the local variable? In the stack area. Whenever the method is called, the variable gets memory in the stack area. Am I clear? Am I clear? Online
Yes.
folks, am I clear with you?
Yes, sir.
So 3 points I want, right, guys? What are the 3 points? What are the 3 points I want to include? For an instance variable, the memory will be allocated. Memory will be allocated. Guys, where the memory is allocated?
Object.
Yes, inside the object. Okay, inside the object. Memory will be allocated inside the object. Tell me, for a static variable. For a static variable, the memory will be allocated
Outside of
at outside of the
object.
objects in heap area. For local variables, for a local variable, yes, the memory will be allocated.
In method
Memory
area.
will be allocated where?
Stack
In
area.
method.
In the stack area. Memory will be allocated in the stack area. These are the 3 things that you guys need to understand now. Am I clear with you guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Cool. Okay. Right. For a local variable, the memory will be allocated in the stack area.
Stack area.
In the stack area. I'll give a big diagram in future to understand about the stack area and all. But as of now, 3 variables are there. Tell me, when do we create a static variable? If you want to create a shared copy of a variable for all objects of a
All
class, then you have to create a static variable.
variable.
Static variable. Okay. First, I want to copy our existing diagram. Because y is which variable? Static variable. Am I right or not? But here, just for understanding purpose, tell me initially what the value assigned. First, c1.y is equal to 90. Next, c2.y 100. Means tell me this 90 is replaced with 100, na?
Yes.
Just I want to
Yes.
represent it in the diagram. Now I will say that a c1 value 90. I am cutting this. I am cutting the c1 value 90. Then I will add the value 100. So that you people can able to identify that, okay, the same value got modified. Am I clear now? This diagram I will copy paste for you. So let me go here and I will try to insert the picture. So is this diagram and all is clear for you? Everyone, is this diagram and all is clear for you? Okay. Please understand me. Let us start discussing again. Guys, understand clearly. I will start telling about some points. You got about when do we create a static variable now? When you want to create a single copy
Shared.
of the variable and you want to share it for
Objects.
all objects, then you have to create a static variable. Then you, if that is your requirement, then you have to create a static variable. I will start, explaining about when the static variable will be created. Please try to understand me now. Okay, everybody try to understand, please. See, Okay, let's take up an example, guys. Example could be okay. Let's take. See, guys. Suppose you take an ATM center. Please listen to me, guys. Suppose you take an ATM center. ATM center. I want to know how many transactions are happened in that ATM center in one day. In one day, how many transactions are happened in the ATM center? I want to know. Did you get my point? Then tell me what happens if the one customer comes and does transaction. Maybe he is withdrawing the money or depositing the money, whatever, or he is going to know the balance of his account. Some transactions happening there, or he is transferring the money from his account to his friend's account. Something he is doing. Tell me now, one customer has entered into the ATM and has done some transaction. Then tell me so far how many customers did that transaction now? One. Now after that customer, another customer also came to the ATM and he is also doing some transaction. Now tell me how many people did the transaction? Two. I have a question to you. If another customer also got entered and also did some transaction, now tell me how many customers have done the transaction now? Three. Which means what? For every customer, whenever a customer enters into ATM and do some transaction, I want to increment
By one.
count. Am I maintaining separate? If I maintain separate count variable for every customer, separate count variable for every customer, could you tell me now? When the first customer does transaction, what's the count? 1. When the second customer does transaction, count is 1 again. See, suppose, guys, just for your to understand, this is first customer. He is first customer. Okay, he's a first customer. Please understand. He's a second customer. He's a third customer. I have 3 customers. For example, just for example, if I maintain separate count for, I feel every customer is one object. This customer is one object. This customer is another object. This customer is another object. You feel like that. 3 customers means how many objects? 3 objects. Assume that. If I maintain separate count like this is count. Initial value 0. This is count. Initial value 0. This is again a count. Initial value 0. Did you get my point? Tell me what happens when this first customer is doing transaction. I want increment count. But what I'm doing, I'm maintaining separate count for each customer. Feel every customer is one object. Understand? Every customer is one object. Then tell me there is separate memory allocated for each object. Then tell me what the count here. Initial value 0. 0 plus 1, 1. When second customer does transaction, this count is incremented. 0 plus 1, 1. If a third customer do transaction, this count is incremented. 0 plus 1, 1. Now, am I clear with you? But actually, how many customers did the transaction so far? 3 customers. Tell me, I have to store this count separately for every customer, or I have to store at one place? This count I have to store separately for every object, or I have to store at one place? One place. Means what I have to do? I have to create one shared variable. What is it? Shared variable. Shared variable means I have to create static variable. Now you tell me, this is, I want delete now. There is only one count. This is count. Tell me, if a first customer does transaction, this count is incremented. 0 plus 1, 1. Initially 0, no customers are there. Now first customer entered into ATM, has done some transaction. Count becomes 1. What happens when second customer enters and does transaction? The same count will be incremented. 1 plus 1, 2. If the third customer also did some transaction in ATM, then this will be 3. Online folks, did you understood this point? Folks in online, did you understood this point? Am I clear with you?
Yes, sir.
Am I clear with you? Everybody? Now you tell me, in this situation, I have to declare this variable count as a instance variable or a static variable? Static, because my requirement is what? I need a one shared variable and I want to increment that variable value. Am I right or not? Whenever a customer enters, then I have to create which kind of variable? Static variable. Did you understood about shared variable now? This is called which variable? Static variable. Very clear. Very clear. Very clear. Okay. Now, yes, understand again. Once again, I have to explain. Please understand me. Again, listen, guys. This is all I want to remove. Again, listen. Okay, guys. These are all okay. Now, let's go to my class A. Because about the static variable, if I explain, now we are talking about static method. And one more thing, guys. Static variables have two ways of accessing. I repeat once again. System.out.println C1.y. Could you tell me what the value of y? System.out.println C2.y. Could you tell me what the value printed here? What the value printed in the first SOP? And what the value printed in the second SOP? Could you tell me,
Both
guys?
100.
Everybody, could you tell me what is the value printed here?
90.
Very good. Nice. Is it 90? How come
100.
it 90 was? How come it 90? It is 100.
100.
Because already 90 gone. 90 replaced with what? That is there in my diagram
100.
also.
100.
Already removed 90 and kept 100 here. First, actually, initially, what C1 has given value? 90.
90.
C2 has given. Then tell me what happens now.
100.
90 will be replaced with 100.
100.
Now, what is the current value? 100.
100.
If I print a C1.y, what is the value of y in this box? 100.
100.
There is no 90. 90 gone. 100. 100. If you modify with one object, it will affect to other object also. 100. Tell me what is C1.y? 100. What is C2.y? 100. Very good. Listen here. System.out.println. What is C1.x? See the diagram and tell me. Take your time, no problem. What is the
100.
C1.x? Sorry?
C1.
What is
40.
the C1.x?
40.
40.
40.
40 only, na? What is C2.x?
50.
50.
50.
Because
50.
X is a different copy, na? X has a different copy for C1 and C2. What the value in
Yes.
C1? 40. What the value in C2 for that X copy? 50.
50.
That's it. Now look at this, guys. System.out.println class A.x. Could you tell me what the value? Could you tell me what the value?
Class A.
Class
50.
A.x. What's the value?
0.
Class A.x is an error. X is a which variable? Instance variable. instance variable cannot be called directly with class name. Remember this point, okay? Who is a class name here? Class A.
Class.
Class A. X is which variable? Instance.
Instance.
What's the statement in
Data.
Java? Instance variable cannot be called with the class name. That's why error. System.out.println class A dot y. What is the
100.
value? 100. Okay. Tell me y is a static variable or y is an instance variable.
Static
Y is which
variable.
variable?
Static variable.
Static variable. Static variable can be called with
Class name.
but instance
Yes.
variable cannot be called with
Class name.
class name. Class name. Did you get my point? Then tell me
Yes.
there are how many ways of calling an instance variable?
Only one way.
One
By
way.
creating the object.
I'm talking about instance variable. Okay. How many ways of calling the instance variable? Only one way.
One.
What's the only one way?
By creating an object.
With object. With object only we can call instance variable. But for static variable, how many ways are there? Two ways of calling. One way with
Creating
object.
of
Second way with class name.
class.
Class name. We can call with the object name or we can
Class.
call with the class name.
Class.
But instance variables, only we can call with the object name, but we cannot call with the class name. Did you get this point? Everybody? Online folks, did you get this point?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, let me copy only this box for you, then I will write. Okay, first I will write the point. First I'll go to my, tell me guys here I want to tell me. Instance variables can be called only with object name.
Class. Object name.
Instance variables, even instance methods also same. I'm including that statement also. Instance variables and instance methods. Better na? Instance variables and instance methods can be called only with what? Only with the object name. Only with the object name. Instance variables and instance methods can be called only with the object name. Could you tell me what about static variables? Static variables and static methods can be called with the object name or
Class name.
with the class name also. Very good. Or with the class name also. Okay, I'll insert the picture. Please read the notes, guys. Okay, I'm giving the notes very, very clearly. Go through the points and read. Try to understand here. So, am I clear so far? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, when do you create a static variable? When do we create a static variable?
We
When you want to share
want to share
one copy of
For
the
all-
variable for all objects. You want to share one copy of a variable for
all of
all
our
objects. Then you go for
shared.
static variable. Am I clear with you?
Yes, sir.
Yes. For example, see guys, if you take a flight, suppose customers are trying to book the flight ticket. Okay. In flight, there are limited seats. For example, a flight has 180 seats, 180 seats. Okay. Then tell me customers are going to book the seats now. If one customer has booked the seat, tell me out of 180, one seat is booked. Now
Yes.
tell me how many seats are available? 179.
179.
If another customer also trying to, he's also booked the seat for seat in a flight, then 178. Tell me these seats available are 178 now. Yes.
Yes.
What happens if another customer book the seat? The seats available are 177. Then tell me this customer 1, customer 2, customer 3, customer 4 who are booking the seats. Am I right? They are all different objects. But
Yes.
what about seats available? Is the seats available? The variable seats available, the memory for that variable is allocated separately for every customer or is common for all the customers? Common?
One for all
Common
the
for all the customers?
Yes.
Yes. Then tell me, if I want to create a common for all customers, I have to declare that variable as a static variable in my program. Did you understand the
Yes.
concept now?
Yes.
Cool. Now I will go ahead. I will explain more things on this. I will remove all these things because just now I have explained what is happening and all. Next. Okay. I will remove these points because already we know. Guys, please look at concept. Please look at the concept. Later we'll see a good example on working with a static variable, but first try to understand. Tell me, currently you have static variable, instance variable. The two things are there in this class A. Now I'm trying to write the static method. Actually, static doesn't take much time. Please understand now. There is a method called void m1. Please understand, void m1. Next, static void m2. M1 is which method, guys? M2 is which method?
M1 is static, M2 is M1 is instance or M2 is
M1 is instance method. M2 is a static method because you are adding static keyword now. If you add the static keyword, static modifier, it becomes static method. Who is static method? M2.
M2.
Then what about M1? Instance method. Finally, M1 is which method? Instance method. M2 is which method? Static method. So far, am I clear with you? Do you have any questions to me so far? Online folks. So far, do you have any questions to me?
No, sir.
Okay, let's go ahead. Please look at this, guys. In M1, look at this. In M1, I will remove these statements also. Okay, I can keep it or I can remove it, doesn't matter. Anyhow, this we know. I just want to remove all these things. This is M1, M2. In M1, understand, in M1, I am writing. In M1, I am writing X is equal to 120. Y is equal to 150. Everybody understand now? Please understand this point. X is equal to 120. Y is equal to 150. X is which variable? Instance. Y is a? M1 is a? Instance method. M2 is a? Static.
Method.
Very good. Very good. Now again in M2 I am writing X is equal to 170 and Y is equal to 190. If I write like this, at this place I am going to get error. I'll show you. Anyhow, we have opened here now. We'll show you. Tell me, guys. First, I want to write one small Java project called. Tomorrow, I'll give you a big example. Today, I just wanted static program. Tomorrow, I'll give you a good example. But for today, I want to write some small to show you the error. Physically, I want to show you practically. com.ashokit.oop. Class name main or any other name I can use. Main method also required. Check this box. Click finish. Am I clear with you? Folks, am I clear with you? I have a class called main. Above this class, I'm creating one more class A, into X, static into Y, void M1, X is equal to 120, Y is equal to 150. Static void M2, X is equal to 170, Y is equal to 190. I have a question to you. I have written code now. Tell me at which line you are getting an error. Line
12.
12. Can you identify why we are getting error at line number 12? Very good. Understand the point here.
We have
Why
declared
I am not getting error for this variable y at line number 13? Why I am not getting error here? And why I am getting error for this line? First of all, understand. X is which variable? Instance. Y is which variable? Static variable. M1 is which method?
Instance method.
Instance method. What about M2?
Static
Method. Understand here. Instance method allows. It will allow instance variable and static variable also. That's why you are not getting error. But M2 is which method? Static method. Then tell me static method will only allow static variables to use. Will allow only static variables to use. But instance variables it will not allow. That's why you are getting error at line number 12. Am I clear? Am I clear, everybody?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Why are you getting error at line number 12? Did you get this point?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Let me add this point for today. Before winding the session, I would like to add this point first. Tomorrow I'll talk more on static method. But today I just want to tell you one important point here. Continuity. What the next point I want, right? Instance methods will allow
instance and static variables.
Instance and static variables. Am I clear? Instance methods will allow instance and static variables. Next, static methods will allow only static variables. Only static variables. Did you get this point? Will allow only static variables. Instance and static variables of a class I am writing better. Of a class. Here also of a class. Better na? Static methods will allow only static variables of a class. Did you get this point? Example. Guys, in this example, okay, I'll keep this example in the next line, next page. Guys, in this example, tell me this X is getting an error. This is error. You are getting line number 12 error.
Yes.
Yes. Why? Because X is a
Instance variable.
instance variable, but
Instance variable.
M2 is a
Static method.
static method. Static method will only allow
Static
Static
variable.
static variables, but doesn't allow
Instance variable.
Instance
That's why we
variables.
are getting
Error.
Error.
right. This is the session for today, guys. And just a minute, I'll share this document with you. Just 1 minute. Today we started from here. This 2nd July. I think yesterday. Have I shared yesterday document? No.
No, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to share it now. Yesterday we started from defining setter and getters only, na? So I will add yesterday's date also, otherwise you'll get confused. 1st July. Yesterday, 1st July.
Yes, sir.
So now I'm going to share. Just give me 1 minute, otherwise I forget. Yeah. Tomorrow I'll talk about the static method and static block also. Static is small concept. Then we'll discuss about inner classes, nested classes, inner classes. Very important things that you are going to get in the tomorrow's class. Just a minute, folks. Give me a second of time. I'm sharing with today's date, not with yesterday's date. Any of the same document. I'll upload the notes with the today's date. Okay. And guys, one more the information to you.